professional staff and students of the School of Nursing at Illinois Wesleyan University, I'm delighted to offer my welcome to you for the 2013 pinning ceremony. In advance of today's ceremony, we asked students to respond to several questions that are distributed electronically, and I'm going to share with you a few highlights. The first question we asked students is to tell us who from your class will be the first nursing professor and why. The student to receive the most votes is Kayla Worley. Kayla is described as having great energy, being intelligent, and interested in teaching. The second student is Sarah Yant. Sarah is good at teaching people information. And she's a genius. Samara received a significant number of votes as well. And Samara was described as very smart and patient, approachable, and another student wrote she pretty much helped teach all of us at some point during our nursing curriculum. Several other students received nods, and I want to acknowledge that of our graduating students, the majority were mentioned at one time or another. And for this question, who will be your first nursing professor? Hillary, Hannah, Elizabeth Avery, Emily Mannanen, Donna, and Annie, as well as Christy, all received acknowledgement. Nice job. The second question asked students to respond to who from your class will be the director of the IWU School of Nursing and why. One student wrote, Dr. Fultz will remain director forever. And I assure you that is not true. And so we have several future leaders among our ranks today. The first individual, Sarah Yant, was described as being laid back, smart, organized, and she really knows her stuff. The second most frequently mentioned student is Emily Mannanen. I love this quote. She might seem small and quiet, but she isn't. She has big ideas, enormous drive, and determination like no other. We had a tie for third place. Annie Gerard, she's always very motivated, very focused. She showed great leadership in her role as SNA president. Also in third place, Samara, because of her attention to detail and role as a leader in the classroom. Donna Chudnovskaya, because no one else would want to step in. As well as the fact that she's a team player and really knows how to get a job done. Again, honorable mentions, Jillian Crosser, Elizabeth Avery, Kayla Worley, Elizabeth Johnson, all received nods as well. We then ask, who will be the first nurse lobbyist? And keep in mind that recently our students traveled to Springfield, where as part of their leadership preparation, we're interacting with our representatives and senators about issues specific to nursing. This class believes that the first nurse lobbyist will be Samara. She's good at debating issues that are of interest to her, was the response. Ellie Richmond, I should have looked around to see where each of you are sitting so I can actually give you a nod. I see Ellie now. Ellie, because she's confident and well-spoken. Annie, with exclamation points that went across the page. This girl is so passionate and will not let anything get in her way. She's not afraid to speak in front of others and not afraid to speak her mind. Annie truly cares about nursing and patients and wants to do what's best. Her persistence will get her far. In this category, we have potential nurse lobbyists in Hannah, Ricky, Christy, Jasmine. We then asked the students to respond to the following question. Who from your class will be the next or the first chief nurse officer at a major medical center? And why? Jen Kneisel received the most votes. She's able to take on a lot of responsibility and is a good leader. Secondly, Courtney Buckwald. The first comment was, the chief of surgery in Grey's Anatomy was in the military, and obviously it worked out for him. But on a more serious note, Courtney is part of our ROTC program, and when she graduates, will take officer status in her role. And so this student wrote, she's in the Army, has her stuff together, and is a competent and great leader. I can just see it. The third highest number of votes went to Kayla Worley. Kayla's assertive, organized, and works well under pressure. With that said, students who also received lovely comments included Annie, Jill Olagus, Samara, Emily Mannanen, Jasmine, and Ricky as well. And I have to say, Ricky's our only male student in the class. And Ricky got shout-outs in lots of these categories. Who from your class will be the first to finish graduate school and why? Hannah Corley, #1 vote getter, has been trying to fulfill her prereqs for grad school since sophomore year. Jen, always on top of her game, and this student wrote, Jen asks questions not even I know the answers to. She's 2 steps ahead of all of us all the time. Tied for second is Donna Chudnovskaya, who has always expressed a desire to pursue an advanced degree. She has the motivation and skills to do so successfully. Kayla Worley, also on her way to graduate school, and this student wrote, I think she's already looking at graduate schools. Samara, Jen I mentioned, Samara, Sarah Swenson, Christy Strong, and Emily Mannanen also were perceived by their classmates as being contenders to finish graduate school first. In contrast, we asked students to respond to who will be the first to leave nursing. Priscilla Rowe received the most endorsement for that because Priscilla will be a professional cellist in a orchestra. Secondly, Sarah Walding will be focused on being the best mother. And according to this student, will rock at it. And if not a mother, you have a potential career as a child life specialist. Good to know. Maddie received the next number of votes, and actually she's tied with Allison Hart. Maddie's going to be a vet, and according to some classmates, Allison may want to do something more exciting with her life, as she may get bored with nursing. But I trust Allison will not be bored with nursing. Who from your class will travel the world promoting our global mission statement? Where will they travel, and what cause will they promote? Not surprisingly, we had 4 candidates who just really rose to the top. But the #1 student is Sarah Yant. Sarah is adventurous, as described by her classmates. She has passion, is very intelligent. People will listen to her. Another student wrote, Sarah Yant, duh. She'll be doing awesome missionary things. Sarah Walding is also headed abroad. And this was lovely. The student wrote, she is the kindest person ever and will travel anywhere that help is needed. Right behind her is Hannah Corley, who wants to get healthcare out to those who don't have access. So again, exciting responses. And I have to tell the audience, these data are de-identified, so when they come to me, they're just written in a crazy, random manner. So they're fun to read. We asked the students to describe what they will remember forever about their class. Again, this word appeared several times. Ricky. Nothing else, just Ricky. How crazy everyone gets when they're sleep deprived. Clinical bus rides, Dr. Kerr's ostomy extra credit assignment. Long hours of studying in Ames every night. Parents, do you hear that? Every night these students were in Ames. I will always remember Dr. Swanlin's pearls, her passion, and her excitement for the nerdiest things, like politics. Hanging out in the lab and freaking out about upcoming tests, modules, and clinicals. And the last comment I'll share, I will always remember the way that we helped each other survive, even in the most stressful of times, with late-night study sessions, commiserating Facebook threads, and a very necessary sense of humor. If you could turn back the sands of time, we asked the students, what year would it be and why? 1996, kindergarten graduation, coloring for homework, and playing outside. The next student wouldn't go as far back, but this student would go back to the year of 2009. He or she writes, I was still in high school, had no worries in the world. I was enjoying going to high school and not doing any work. Right now, I'm focusing on finding a job and actually being an adult. Another student writes, after freshman year for sure, I don't think I could make it through human bio again. Sophomore year, I wish I had learned pathopharm a little better. That information is important. And similarly, another student wrote that he or she would return to sophomore year to have Dr. Jarvis again for pathopharm and to be blissfully unaware of all the extra stress that would come with the upcoming years. We asked the students to describe their very best memory of the IWU School of Nursing. Dr. Kerr's Florence Nightingale costume, conversations with Kim and Becky, as well as my very lovely classmates, being on a plane and sitting next to someone who was studying from Dr. Jarvis's textbook and being able to let that person know that that was my professor who wrote the textbook. Similarly, Dr. Jarvis's excellent comeback during a test review. Well, I wrote the book. And another student said that his or her best memory was Sim Man dying. I called my mom and cried. And again, for those of you who are unfamiliar, and moms in the room may be laughing, dads as well, part of the education we provide in preparation for direct patient care are some high-fidelity simulated activities in our lab. And so students are working with simulators that in fact have the capacity to code or flatline. And in this situation, if the students aren't responsive enough to the care needs, that can happen. So I'm glad that was a meaningful experience. It may have been in my sim.